My presentation is on the musical genius Ludwig van Beethoven, who lived from 1770 to 1827. Beethoven was most likely born on December 16, 1770, in Bonn, Germany, and then baptized on the next day, as was custom for his time. His mother was Maria Magdalena von Beethoven, and his father was a musician named Johann Beethoven. His namesake, though, was from his very famous musician grandfather, Kapellmeister Ludwig van Beethoven. From an early age, it was evident that Beethoven was a musical prodigy, and his father forced him to practice for long hours, often depriving him of sleep. Beethoven would be punished for making mistakes or hesitating while he played. In 1787, Beethoven was sent to Vienna to study music under Mozart. Mozart said of Beethoven, "Keep your eyes on him. Someday he will give the world something to talk about," and he was right. In 1800, Beethoven performed his Symphony No. 1 in C major at the Royal Imperial Theatre in Vienna. This established him as one of Europe's greatest composers, even though Beethoven didn't really like his first symphony. From 1803 to 1812, in what is known as his heroic or middle period, Beethoven composed an opera, 6 symphonies, and many other pieces of music, including his famous Symphony No. 5 in C minor. Around 1799, when he was only 29 years old, Beethoven began struggling with the first symptoms of deafness. Despite this obvious obstacle to creating music, he continued to compose, and in 1824 he completed his famous Ninth Symphony. Beethoven's deafness is thought to be caused by him contracting typhus in 1796. Another theory was that there were large amounts of lead found in his skull, but it is not known if this had any effect on his deafness. Beethoven is considered to be one of the greatest musicians ever. His music spanned the gap between the classical and romantic eras of music. He died on March 26, 1827, at age 56, from post-hepatic cirrhosis of the liver, also known as active chronic hepatitis, which is an autoimmune response to hepatitis B or C. In his music, Beethoven used classical techniques, but with new power and intensity. His music connected the musical eras of the Romantic and Classic times. Beethoven introduced the concept of musical continuity, as he sometimes led one movement directly into the next without any pause in between them. Beethoven composed many kinds of music, including an opera, symphonies, concertos, string quartets, string sonatas, piano sonatas, overtures, trios, sextets, and songs. His most famous works are his 9 symphonies. Beethoven is most famous for his 9 symphonies, and his Symphony No. 5 in C minor and his Symphony No. 9 in D minor are some of his most famous works. We will now listen to a part of Symphony No. 5 in C minor. The Fifth Symphony opens with the short, 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 long motive described by Beethoven as fate knocking at the door, which is one of the most famous rhythms in history. Now we will listen to a part of Symphony Number 9 in D minor. This symphony includes Ode to Joy, which is a poem by Friedrich Schiller. Beethoven is considered to be the greatest composer of all time. He even created some of his most famous music while deaf, which is quite the feat. But being deaf did not stop him from listening to the music in his head. One of my all-time favorite quotes is by Ludwig van Beethoven. It reads, "I smile and bow, and the world is loud. And though I dare not lean in to shout, can't you see that I'm deaf? I also cannot stop listening." Beethoven's last words are what I'll conclude my presentation with. Plaudite amici, commedia finita est. Applaud, friends, the comedy is over.